It is 4 p.m. We bring developing news and the stories behind the headlines. This is Historic on the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao. Some stores are watching this Tuesday, February 3. Senate President Tito Soto confirms that Senator Loren Legarda was offered the position of Senate President, allegedly by members of the minority bloc. Soto said Legarda spoke to him recently and said that she declined the offer. Earlier, Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson claimed the so-called coup plotters even floated the idea of Legarda volunteering to help gather support for herself. A narrative that Lacson says is, and we quote, malicious and sadistic. The House Committee on Justice has postponed voting on the sufficiency of substance in two impeachment complaints against President Bongbong Marcos Jr. The vote was moved from today to tomorrow, February 4. The second complaint, endorsed by Makabayan lawmakers, was also not discussed during today's session. Meantime, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro says the legal team of the president has not yet taken action amid House panel deliberations on the complaint. She adds the administration is still waiting to see how the process will unfold. Villar Land Holdings Corporation says it will answer allegations of market manipulation and insider trading. That's after formal receipt of a criminal complaint filed by the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, on January 30. The SEC accused the company and related entities of making false or misleading disclosures that supposedly distorted share prices. On Monday, shares of Villar-linked companies plunged sharply following the complaint. All-Day Corporation led the decline, dropping to 30%, while by 30%, while other Villar-related firms, including Vista Land, Vista Reit, All Home, and Villar Land, also suffered heavy losses. At the upper chamber, senators zoomed in on issues concerning the tourism department. Of particular concern are expensive plane tickets and accommodations in some local tourist destinations, including Siargao. The Air Carriers Association of the Philippines raised problems in infrastructure, like limited runways, which can only accommodate small aircraft. This is why it says plane fares are higher in some destinations. In the same hearing, Senator Raffy Tulfo also zeroed in on Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco's seeming self-promotion.
I'm very sorry, Secretary Frasco. Parang lumilitaw na ikaw ay nagiging vlogger na. It will not sell pag doon sa mga marketing materials natin, puro mukha mong nakalagay doon.
The magazine that bore my image, called Philippine Topics, that was published in Japan and subsequently distributed for free, absolutely had no consent, funding, or information.
Huwag ka magalit, ano? Kasi marami na akong natatanggap ng mga feedback from other people na pagdating sa promotions, dapat ang pinopromote yung lugar, hindi dapat yung tao. Iwas tayo dun sa personality.
Po ako nagagalit, nagtatrabaho lang po ako. Just wish to make clear na yung background ko po ay naging mayor po ako dun sa Cebu. Hindi po ako sanay na magtrabaho sa loob lamang po ng opisina.
I'm not saying, Ma'am, that you're not present, your presence there is not legit. Okay? What I'm saying is, yung presence mo doon, yung sa picture na yan, it doesn't fit in sa taste ng mga Pilipino.
The accusation of self-promotion would fall flat because I am not running for any national position in 2028, and therefore there would be no reason for me to promote myself.
And joining us today is Sorcon's resident political pundit, our international man of mystery, or international man of malady. Kesa naman malis, di ba? Tito Raul Llamas.
Gandang hapon. Pagulo yung introduction mo, Ed.
I'm fine-tuning it, can't you tell? Teka, asan ka? Are you on the way back?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, nasa biyahe si Tito Ronald. I think coming from up north.
College from the Catholic Educators Association of the Philippines. General Assembly.
Kawawa naman. Nagsalita ka?
Eh, rin ng umaga.
Kawawa naman sila. Ibig sabihin na ikaw ay nagbigay ng iyong gems of wisdom sa mga Catholic educators.
Hindi ko alam yung wisdom.
Sige, we'll get back to that. Introduce muna natin isa pa natin kasamaan from the Philippine Star, ang ating bossing ng Star, si Ami Pamintuan. Ayun,
Hi everybody.
kakulay na kakulay yung font
Happy
ng Star. Oh.
Tuesday. Oo nga, masyadong bright na bright dito sa monitor kong aking ano. No?
Di ba? Kakulay-kakulay. Ibalik ka niyo yung Philippine Star font. Pakita niyo ulit.
Shocking yellow sa monitor, hindi ganyan.
Ayan.
Tama, pareho, no? Pareho,
Ayan.
tama. Tama, eksakto, blue and yellow. Blue and yellow. Ronald, may binanggit ba yung mga Catholic educators kung anong balak nilang contribution sa crisis in education natin?
Oo,
It's really a crisis.
Well, siyempre, short term tsaka long term. Long term, siyempre, education.
Short term muna,
Dahil tingin
short
nila,
term.
kasama.
Yung mga doable short term.
Siyempre, yung short term kasi, ay gusto nilang i-improve immediately yung ating educational system. Dahil nga, pababa yung ating
Nagbe-break up ka, Ronald.
educational system, pagguho ng pagguho. At
Kaya nga, anong magagawa?
corruption struggle. Pero yung long term, sa biyahe kasi,
Oh.
yung long term, siyempre, yung pagbabago ng ating kultura.
Oh.
Naku, kultura. Mahaba-haba mong usapin yan, ha?
Mahirap-hirap yan, oo. Mahirap talaga, super long term yan. Nagbe-break up ka, Ronald.
Ronald,
yung sound mo.
Ronald, we'll connect you again kasi sayang yung sinasabi mo eh.
Oo.
We cannot get most of it eh. We'll connect again with Ronald
Oo.
Llamas kasi he's on the road. Baka may portion na medyo alangan yung signal.
Oo.
But that's a very good point from Ami kasi ano yung findings ng EDCOM 2?
Yeah.
Among them,
Puro masama eh.
from 2023 to 2024 yata yun, 30%,
Puro masama.
30% lamang ng grade 3 ang
Habang
matatag na
nag-advance
proficient.
sila, lalong bumababa
Oo.
yung competency.
That's the one. So 30% pag grade 3, pagdating ng grade 6, nasa 19% proficiency na lang.
Siyempre, back up yun, di ba?
Oo.
Kapag nangulelat ka na sa umpisa,
Oo.
hanggang doon na yung padula.
Patong-patong na yan. Ang hindi mo naintindihan ng grade 3, mas dumami yan pagdating mo ng grade
Yes.
6. At pag dumating
Tapos
ka ng...
ipipilit pa na ipasa, di ba? Dahil yun na nga yung ano natin na wala nang binabagsak eh. Kaya lalong nagpa-pile up yung yung mga deficiencies sa competencies required for that grade level.
Oo. If I remember right, so from grade 6 na nasa 19% proficiency, pag grade 10,
Saan mo
I
na kaya
think
yung computer mo, no?
sorry? Pag grade 10, I think it's 1.9% na lang. Pag grade 12, it's 0.43% proficiency. So wala pang 1%.
Sobra. Walang mag-ano eh. Kaya yung basic literacy natin, functional literacy, parehong lumalapad.
So nagba-back up yung learning deficiency, I suppose that's what you might call it. On the other hand, what was this also part of EDCOM 2, I think. The past few months they've found some at least some resolution of
Improvement.
sorts in some I suppose mga pilot schools in trimming down yung curriculum para mas core subjects. They've seen some marked improvements in the past few months in those pilot areas. Yun lang. It's a matter of
Pero
upscaling.
pilot area lang yan. No?
Oo nga. It's a matter of
Although,
upscaling.
of course, you have to start with pilot areas, I guess.
And yun
Ayan
nga.
si Ronald, subukan mo.
Sige, Ronald, can you hear us now? Let's try again. Mr. Ronald Llamas.
Yes.
There you go, better.
Alam naman natin importance ng education eh. No, alam natin ang importance. Halimbawa, yung learning poverty ng Pilipinas is 91%. Ang learning poverty ng Vietnam is 21%.
Kaya
Ang
nga,
layo.
nakahabol na
Kaya
sila ng gusto.
nalampasan na tayo ng Vietnam eh.
Kung,
Nalampasan na tayo 3 years ago. education. Halimbawa, ang Taiwan tsaka Singapore, wala naman sila masyadong natural resources. Pero dinevelop nila through education ang
Yeah.
kanilang human resources.
Human resource.
Ngayon, nasa first world status sila. So, napakahalaga talaga ng education. Eh, nakita naman natin dito sa Blue Ribbon Committee, yung level ng corruption mismo sa ating Department of Education. Diba? Itong tatlo nating cabinet secretary sa DepEd mula nung panahon ni Digong na link sa corruption. Diba? Secretary Liling Briones dito sa DepEd scandal, si Vice President Sara Duterte dito sa mga notice of disallowance at as well as confidential fund. Tapos ngayon, even Sani Angara, no? Na link ni yung dito sa corruption. So, pabagsak na nga ang ating education system, sobrang dami pa ng mga issues ng corruption. So, talagang kailangan hawakan ng gobyerno by the President the bull by its horns. Dahil kung patuloy na magde-deteriorate yung ating education system, talagang baka malampasan na tayo mismo ng Cambodia at saka Laos.
Huwag naman, grabe ka naman.
Kaya nga, ano yung mga napag-usapan ng Catholic educators na pwede nilang gawin?
Well, hindi naman ako nakasama dun sa kanila mga organizational na
Nag-speech ka sa kanila.
nakasama lang naman ako dun sa political situation na nag-input
Oo.
ako, no? Yung discussions nila Pero I think ang pinag-usapan nila is how to improve yung kinasasapian ng SEAP, yung no, dahil medyo maganda naman yung educational programs nila eh. Diba? Dahil mga private schools yan eh, Catholic schools eh.
Oo.
Ang masangka
Saka
nila,
ano sila ha, yung Catholic educators, meron silang mga program for the yung mga low-income families. Tumutulong sila ron.
yes, tumutulong sila.
Medyo socialized yung tuition nila. Mas mura sila.
Yes. So, at the same time, yung role ng Catholic education dito sa mga problema ng bansa. Impunity, dynasties, at saka itong corruption. So, yun yung aking topic.
Yung sense of right and wrong, hindi nakukuha. Dapat bata pa eh.
Yes. At yung interplay ng moral leadership of the church at yung political leadership.
Teka, may sundutin ko yung sinabi ni Ami na yung sense of right and wrong or sense of right versus wrong, yun ba yung nawawala? Is it getting lost among
Hindi,
our
kailangan
students?
maumpisahan yun from the start. Di ba?
Yeah. Well, clearly, ganun nga. Pero my question is, from your perspectives, mukha bang nalulusaw yung linyang yun?
Ikaw naman, Sangkoy, baka ba naman
synopsis
nakatira?
natin?
Isa ka pa. Sa dami na iskandalo natin ngayon. Tinatanong
Dito
mo.
sa nasa NLEX. Nasa NLEX, no? North Luzon Expressway. Well, ang mahalaga kasi,
Naghahang siya.
Wala, naputol na naman.
Oo
Sige.
nga.
But anyway, habang lumalapit si Ronald, nasa election na naman siya eh. Habang lumalapit siya, I suppose the signal will get clear. Anyway, today we have, as we began with yesterday, we are already having an hour and a half of StoryCon from 4 to 5:30. So,
bakit tsaka babae?
Ronald, teka,
Ronald,
napuputol-putol ka.
nag-break up ka ng mga 1 minute siguro. Kaya kailangan ulitin mo yung sinabi mo.
ang laki
Hindi,
ng
ang sinasabi ko, halimbawa yung learning poverty natin, alam naman natin to, napag-usapan natin before ito sa StoryCon eh. Yung cognitive ability ng ating kabataan, ng mga estudyante, ang laki ng deterioration. Less than 10% na lang eh. Yung medyo cognitive skills ay develop. More than 90% ay bagsak yung cognitive abilities ng ating kabataan. Pero dagdag pa dyan ay tayo ang bully capital of the world sa mga elementary students. No? Ibig sabihin may problema sa
sa values.
Hindi lang sa quality ng ating education, kundi pati sa value system.
Yan na nga.
no? Sa value system. Nagulat ako nung nalaman ko na kumpara tayo, bully capital sa mga
Hindi,
bata.
lumabas yan sa PISA eh. Yung the first 2 times na nag-participate tayo dun sa yung sa PISA, sinight siya nung Organization of Economic Cooperation na dahil sa bullying, it is affecting yung performance natin sa PISA. Dahil napakatindi ng problema natin sa bullying. Di daw makakonsentrate mabuti yung mga 15-year-old natin.
Those are, those are all interesting points. Let me tie that in with the one thing that was also raised in one of the previous studies before. There was also something that came up in the previous study before na parang to the effect that in the Philippines, people are not always very well informed, but they're very confident with their opinions. So if you tie them all together, parang galing na galing
Ako,
tayo minsan
tama
sa sarili
ako.
natin.
Aha. Yan ang iniisip, tama sila lagi. Pero yung
Parang
sinasabi mo, Ronald, kasi nag-umpisa yan sa early childhood
There
pa
you
yan
go.
eh.
Yun nga eh. If
Yung
you
cognitive
trace back,
impairment eh.
it's
Starting
value
with the
formation.
nutrition yan, di ba? Sinasabi nila, yung stunting, kulang ka sa kinakain, you're
Yes.
always hungry. Paano ka makakapag-isip
Yes.
at makakapag-aral ng maayos? So,
Pero
yan,
siguro,
yan.
nakikita rin kasi nila, Ami, baka nakikita rin ng mga bata, yung example ng ating mga
Yun
leaders
din.
Yung combination ng ignorance at saka sinasabi ni Ed na confidence. Very confident sila sa kanilang ignorance.
Natama sila nga. Oh.
Kasi kasi Bok, although they're of course linked and related, iba yung problema natin ng comprehension and skills versus iba yung problema natin dun sa values formation.
Values.
Di ba? Of course they're linked.
Yes.
Magkakadikit 'yan. Pero magkaiba rin 'yan. Ibig sabihin, you can have very very good values but perhaps have difficulty with the academics.
Academics, oh.
And
Kaya
vice
nga.
versa. And vice versa.
So,
Unfortunately.
medyo kulang nga yung values formation, di ba?
Unfortunately, sa pareho
Actually,
tayo
kulang sa pareho.
sa pareho tayo lumalabo.
Pareho. Kulang sa pareho.
Kulang sa pareho eh. Yan ang problema.
Which brings us back to Ami's question kanina. Anong gagawin natin?
Tapos nakikita mo pang norm sa leadership ay yung nakikita natin ngayon. Corruption, impunity, di ba? So,
Nakakorek naman yan kung papakita na may mapaparusahan, magkakaroon ng reforms.
yun.
Although, mahirap siya at this point, pero siguro kung pagpupursigihan, baka naman makaya.
Tsaka nauso rin yung post-truth era eh. Sometimes the truth does not matter to a lot of people more than what they
Yeah.
feel about what they perceive to be the facts.
Kaya nga.
May pangalan na nga yung post-truth era. Anyway,
Tapos kulang pa tayo, palit ng palit yung, utang natin 17.71 trillion for the whole of 2025, ha? 17.71 trillion pesos na utang natin. Yan na yung official record for 2025.
Nung nagtapos yung gobyerno namin, 5.8 trillion ang utang.
Kaya nga, utang tayo ng
2016.
utang, tapos
Nag-times-
nakaw ng pera.
nag-times 3, gano'n.
Oo.
Anyway,
That was 2016. At yung iniwan namin na sa Kaban ng Bayan, 1 trillion for the next government.
Kaya nga, biro mo yan.
Anyway, Bok,
Mawawala.
of course, among our major stories for today, kasi we'll be having our guest in a few minutes, we'll be having with us former Senator Franklin Drilon. Of course, among the many things that we plan to talk to him about is the impeachment process, the Supreme Court decision on impeachment versus Sara Duterte, and yung gumugulong na ngayon na impeachment complaint against BBM. By the middle of this month siguro, magkakasabay-sabay yan sa Justice Committee ng House. So that'll be interesting to look at. As well, something that we...
Baka ngayon, kakatapos lang nila ngayon sa Justice Committee.
but they
No,
postponed it.
Bukas pa daw yung botohan.
Magtutuloy sila bukas.
Oo.
Mukhang
Bukas.
pipilitin nilang matapos yan next week para hindi magsabay. Hindi magsabay dun sa Vice President.
But,
Oh,
yun nga po-
sabi ng company vice president, papangalanan daw niya si Mary Grace Piatos.
talaga?
Kapag natuloy. Kapag natuloy.
Okay, that's something we're
Ayan.
all waiting for. Pero if you go by the process in the House impeachment rules, pagkatapos ma-decide yung sufficiency in form, sufficiency in substance,
Substance.
tapos ano yan?
Bukas yan.
They'll ask for a response from the accused. Tapos may palitan yan ng may exchange yan ng correspondence, for example,
Pwede
pleadings.
naman yung abogado lang.
Mga pleadings yan. After ng pleadings, then the committee will decide if they will hold hearings. Kung magtatawag ng hearing ba yan at may mga witnesses magte-testify. Diyan yung 60 days na magdidesisyon ang komite kung ito ba sa committee report i-endorse sa plenaryo at pagpuputuhan. So mahaba-haba pa proseso yan. Those are session days.
Pero kailangan nilang tapusin yan bago na naman sila mag-Holy Week break.
No.
So, yun ang inaasahan natin.
Okay.
Mahirap yung you will leave something hanging during the break
Yeah. But something we also discovered yesterday, we talked kasi to Congresswoman Luis Roy, yung chairperson ng Committee on Justice. Kasi kahapon ang tanong natin, bakit nag-file parang maaga nag-file yung dalawang grupo, yung civil society endorsed by Akbayan and Mamayang Liberal and yung Makabayan Bloc versus VP Sara Duterte. They filed on February 2 when the July decision of the Supreme Court said that you can file on February 6. It turns out ganito pa rin yung kanilang interpretation. Nagbago yung interpretasyon ng Korte Suprema from July to February. Nung July, ang sabi ng Korte Suprema, pasok sa 10 session days yung pag-akyat ng pag-calendar sa order of business ng tatlong impeachment complaint last year. So kaya February 5 nila sinet yung start ng 1 year bar. Pero last week, sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema, nagbagong isip niya, sabi niya, hindi pala pasok sa 10 days. Ang 10th session day dapat is January 14.
Alam mo,
dapat
Ed,
magsimula
Ami,
yung bar.
napag-aralan naman natin yung mga ibang mga kongreso around the world. Ngayon lang ako nakakita na yung Supreme Court ay sinabihan yung kongreso kung anong ibig sabihin ng session days. No?
Yeah.
Dahil ang nag-identify ng session days ay yung kongreso
yung Congress.
itself. No?
Yeah.
Hindi lang dito, sa buong mundo. Tapos ngayon nakakita ako, very weird, na sa Pilipinas, ang nag-define ng session days ng Kongreso ay yung Supreme Court.
Supreme Court.
That was very
Na-impeachable
weird.
ang mga membro.
That was very weird,
That was also the point of retired Justice Adolfo Ascuna in his Facebook post the other day. Sabi ni Adolfo Ascuna, Congress's definition of session days should be the one in place. Excuse me, because under the Constitution,
Yes.
it is Congress that is allowed or solely allowed to set the rules.
Ang
for
hirap
the
dito sa
impeachment.
atin, may kanya-kanyang dictionary yung yung Senado, yung Supreme Court. Kaya ganyan, nag-aaway-aaway tayo Hindi
Para klaro lang,
malaman definition ng forthwith, session days.
for tweet na naman tayo.
Anong problema dyan?
Para klaro lang sa mga nakikinig, sa Kongreso kasi, ang session day ay hindi kapareho ng pag-akyat, pagbaba ng araw. Ang session day,
Kaya nga.
Continuing.
Pinipirmahan dyan
pag nag-call to order,
Continuing yun.
pag nag-call to order ang kung sino man nasa speaker's podium, call to order, bang! Simula yan ng session day. Pag nag-adjourn,
That's right.
bang! Yan ang end ng session day.
Tapos yung end ng session day.
Hindi yan depende sa araw.
Calendar
Akyat
day.
baba, oo. Kasi minsan ang session day, magbaba ang speaker ng call to order tapos isang linggo bago mag-adjourn.
Pero Ed, yun ang norm around the world. Pwedeng i-chat GPT yan ng ating mga nakikinig. No? Para malaman nila kung gaano ka-weird yung ginawa ng Supreme Court. na sila ang nagdikta kung anong ibig sabihin ng session day. Hindi ginagawa yan,
Kasi remember, meron ding
I-chat
mga
GPT
definition
nila.
dito sa atin di ba? Meron ding working day, merong calendar day, di ba? Merong mga ganyan Kaya kung sino yung institution, kami magde-define kung ano yung session day namin.
Plus yun nga,
Diba?
the Constitution says it's up to Congress Congress has the sole prerogative to set the rules on its impeachment procedures basta it hews to the Constitution. When the Constitution naman does not put limitations on how you define the session days. So may ganung back and forth.
Dapat magsubok din ng total nagaganyanan na rin lang yung mga co-equal branches. Mag-pass din ng batas yung Congress affecting naman the Supreme Court. Tingnan natin kung ano mangyari.
You know, Bok, we were asking Congresswoman
Diba?
Luis kagabi, yung sa session day issue, anong balak ninyo? Will you hew to the Supreme Court's new definition or will you stand by your own? Sabi niya, well, para wala nang they will hew to what the Supreme Court said in its decision last week.
Sa impeachment.
Sa impeachment, sa impeachment. At least for that purpose, they will go with that muna. Ang hindi klaro sa kanya kagabi, are they going to draft new rules for impeachment? Hindi namin napag-usapan. We tried to go into that kasi ang sagot niya kasi was medyo gumanon sabi niya kasi yung iba kasi impeachment ni VP Sara, iba yung impeachment ni Bongbong Marcos. Nagsimula na kay Bongbong Marcos sa amin, yung kay VP Sara nandun pa sa Secretary General. So may ganun siyang may ganun siyang paghihimay. So medyo hindi nasagot ng maigi yan kung sila ba'y magbabalangkas ng isang panibagong listahan ng impeachment rules. With that in mind, in session days. So yun.
Pati ba yung pag-define ng session day is a grave abuse of discretion? Kaya dapat panghimasukan ng Supreme Court?
Later, let's ask Senator Franklin Drilon, or former Senate President Franklin Drilon. Of course, he's a legal luminary. And nakadalawang impeachment process siya, di ba? Kay Corona, tsaka kay Erap. Naka-Erap
Kaya
din siya
ngayon, nagpo-propose si Shell Jokno, magtayo daw ng Congressional Commission to address all these issues affecting the judiciary. No? Baka palagay ko, masusuportahan niya ng mga tao That's short of calling constitutional, calling for constitutional amendments, Congressional Commission na lang. Di ba?
But I think
Actually, yung ginawa ng Supreme Court, pag-uusapan yan for generations to come.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Magiging landmark yan. Hindi mga law students. Everybody will be talking about this decision by the Supreme Court. Ano nangyari? Yung prospective, naging retroactive, no? Tapos yung co-equal branches, pinapakialaman, yung pagbabago ng konstitusyon na hindi trabaho ng Supreme Court, di ba? Yung judicial overreach, etc., etc.
Yan nga. Kaya maganda siguro yung proposal ni Congressman Jokno. Hindi naman siya masyadong confrontational, It's just a congressional commission that will come up with recommendations. Ganun lang. Pwedeng pag-usapan ng mga tao. O ano pwedeng gawin.
Pero Bok, baka mahaba ang proseso yan. Baka mas
Siyempre.
mahaba pa yan kaysa sa dun sa impeachment.
Hindi, Congress naman yan Pwedeng di ba, umpisan muna sa committee at submit lang sa Justice Committee.
Yeah. But the impression we got from Luisa last night was she does not want to bang heads at this point with the Supreme Court.
Kaya nga recommendation lang gagawin nila.
Pero okay yan, para may ginagawa yung ating mga politiko.
To keep them busy, ganun.
Oo.
Ay, teka, Ronald, ano babalita mo din sa Senate?
Nagbabakbakan doon si Kwan, di ba? Si Marcoleta at saka si Kwan.
Hindi yun.
Si Kiko.
Hindi yun.
Yung coup daw,
West
yung
Philippine
coup.
Sea, hindi yun. Yung coup.
Yung coup. Kinausap nila yung isang miyembro ng majority, no? Para,
Si Lauren nga, pinangalanan na nila.
para mahati yung majority. Di ba? Hindi naman nagtagumpay. Nag-hold firm. Nag-hold firm naman yung majority. Nakita nila yung style bulok na kaya ino-offer sa isa sa kanila para mahati sila. Di ba? Yun yung dahil hindi kaya ng minority on its own na makuha yung leadership. So ang kanilang strategy ay hatiin yung majority. Hindi naman umubra, no? Kaya tingin ni Senator Ping Lacson masyadong insidious at masyadong malicious yung ginawang taktika.
Pero Bok, how tenuous, if at all, is Tito Soto's hold on to the
Hindi, malinaw naman.
position of
Malinaw naman,
Sir
Ed, from
President?
the very start, tenuous, di ba?
Mm.
Dahil very thin naman yung
Very thin ang
majority
margin.
from the very start.
Yeah.
Tapos sa majority, meron kang mga hindi masyadong dependable. Halimbawa, ito si Pia Cayetano, hindi sumama sa majority doon sa pagpirma ng resolution criticizing the Chinese embassy, di ba?
Ito pinag-aawayan nila ngayon.
Tapos ngayon, si Lauren Legarda, ang tingin nila, dahil doon sa problema ng anak, ay pwedeng ma-soften, pwedeng pabaliktarin. Di ba? Several months ago, tingin nila si JB pwedeng bumaliktad.
Yeah,
Tapos ngayon,
that's
dahil
true.
may mga kaso yung mga bilyar, ang tingin nila pwede rin pabaliktarin yung mga bilyar. So, from the very start naman, Ed, very tenuous no?
Bok, sorry, let me break this in kasi our guest is already here, si former Senate President Franklin Drilon. Let's bring him in. Baka maputol linya natin SP, former Senate President Franklin Drilon, maraming salamat for joining us this afternoon. Welcome back to Storycon.
Hi, Senator.
Good afternoon, Ed. Good afternoon, Ami.
Si Ronald
magandang hapon.
Si
Good
Ronald is
afternoon.
mobile.
Mas kabisado ni SP Drilon itong dynamic sa Senate. Tayo
Apat na beses ako natanggal as Senate President, kaya memoryado ko.
Sir, ano yun, sir? That's glass half empty, glass half full. Natanggal kayo kasi na-elect muna kayo ng Senate President. Diba? So it's how you look at it. Sir, but sir, before we go to the Senate position, sir, let me ask you first about some legal issues, especially after the Supreme Court decided last week on VP Sara Duterte's the impeachment complaint against VP Sara Duterte. Pinagtatalunan na, among other things, yung definition ng session days. In the end, the Supreme Court decided to define what session days means versus what Congress wanted it, how Congress wanted it to be defined. What do you think po?
Well, alam mo, when I was in law school, we have a saying, the law is what the gods of Padre Faura say.
Okay.
Kaya po kung anong, especially in today's environment, because of the very divided political scenario, the Supreme Court assumes a very critical role, and that is the interpretation of the Constitution, of which under the Constitution they are supreme. And therefore, sila po ang pinaniwalaan ng tao ngayon. Unfortunately, particularly the legislative does not enjoy the trust today of the people that much because of what has transpired in the past few months.
Di ba yung Constitution is supreme to the Supreme Court?
Po?
Yung Constitution is supposed to be higher than the Supreme Court. Malinaw
No,
naman
the
yung
Supreme
wording
Court-
dun sa Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court interprets what the Constitution means. And therefore, as we say, what the gods of Padre Faura say is the law.
Pero
Kala ko
SP,
wala naman dun sa Constitution, yung sinasabi nila, nagdagdag sila Nagdagdag sila ng mga rules dun
Tama po, Ami. Maraming, a lot of people agree with you. But unfortunately, the Supreme Court has the say.
Pero SP, totoo ba na merong tiwala ang tao sa kanila? Does the survey says that? Parang iba yung resulta ng surveys
Well, sa akin, ang mas comparing the political bodies of this government and the Supreme Court, mas naniniwala ang tao sa Korte Suprema. Yan ang
Actually,
aking...
mas mataas rating ni Vice President.
Sorry?
Mas mataas yung rating ni Vice President kaysa sa Supreme Court.
Anyway.
Ibang grupo naman ikaw naman si Ami. I think a reference point natin is between Congress's credibility and the Supreme Court's
offices ang
credibility.
inaano natin.
Pero sir, okay, granted po. In the end, siyempre, it's the Supreme Court na talaga masusunod. It's a final arbiter of sorts. But from your recollection, I mean, at least for context man lang, from your recollection, how has session day always been defined?
I'm sorry,
How was
Ed.
session
What's
day?
the question?
How has the concept of a session day always been defined?
I'm sorry, the lines are not so good.
Yes, sir.
Ano daw po ang definition
ano po
ng
talaga-
ng session day?
Opo.
During your
ang
time.
Supreme Court ba magde-define, SP, kung what is a session day para sa Kongreso?
Dapat hindi. But pinasukan nila, they defined it, so that's how it went. The Supreme Court interpreted what session days is. And that's a judicial interpretation of the Constitution. And even assuming na hindi, yun ang problema natin. What do? You have to follow the law, and the Supreme Court decision is part of the law of the land. We may not agree with the Supreme Court, and us do not agree with the Supreme Court, but they are the interpreters of the Constitution. Ika nga, they are the Supreme Court, including decisions which are supremely wrong is a decision that they render.
I like the way you put that, sir.
Ano bang cure dyan? Si panahon pa ni Noynoy, he's been talking already about judicial overreach. Ano ba ang viable cure for that?
Well, I have no answer
Viable,
to that. I mean, I'm sorry, I have no answer to that. The Constitution is supposed to provide all the safeguards, including the Judicial and Bar Council, including electing the correct president. So,
Oo nga.
ganun talaga, tao ang bumubuo ng sistema, tao rin ang nagsumisira. I have no answer to your question, Abby, to be candid, because it is not a ground for impeachment.
Ng
Okay.
Supreme Court justices. It's not.
The particular interpretation of the Constitution is not a
Yes.
ground for impeachment, even if you don't agree with it.
Okay.
Kahit magdagdag sila ng kung ano-ano ron na wala naman doon.
That's correct. Yes, I don't think that an impeachment is feasible, as what we say today. See today.
Oo. Pwede ba mag-legislate naman ang Kongreso ng matters
Yes.
that will affect the Supreme Court?
Legislation is feasible if it does not involve an interpretation of the Constitution. But if it's an
okay.
interpretation of the Constitution, you cannot legislate because that's under the Constitution, the Supreme Court is given the exclusive task of interpreting what the Constitution says.
Okay, sir. So even if Congress tries to legislate its own definition of a session day, hindi na pwede kasi interpret ng Supreme Court.
Madali sa Korte Suprema yan. And what do you think the Supreme Court will do?
Okay.
Sustain its own.
But Congress can assert its power of
Yes,
impeachment.
yes. Congress,
New argument siya, new argument.
that's correct. The Congress can define what the session day is and argue that this is their exclusive power to interpret. But if the Supreme Court entertains a petition to question that interpretation or that interpretation of the session days, then the law is declared unconstitutional, and under
Okay.
our system, the Supreme Court has that power.
Okay.
Pero nothing stops the Supreme Court from ruling in favor of Congress, di ba? Pwede rin naman yung mangyari.
Pwede rin mangyari.
Pero di ba,
Well, in the old school, whether at least during my time, the court has it has in many instances
Reverse.
refrained from ruling on an issue because it involves a political question. That thing today is no longer a reliable doctrine you cannot with certainty say that the Supreme Court will not rule on this because it's a political question.
pero di ba, SP, nawi-weaken yan yung ating system of checks and balances? Kung may ganyang klaseng walang respeto sa mga co-equal branches of government. Kahit ipagpalagay na natin na walang makakapigil sa power ng Supreme Court. Pero hindi ba naiisip ng Supreme Court, hindi ba sila circumspect on how they may weaken
Ronald, you are addressing you must address that to the wisdom of the members of the Supreme Court, of the Supreme Court justices.
Pero you're saying,
It can,
Senator, na
it can result in some weakening of the relations between the institutions, but somehow the Supreme Court is given that power to be the final arbiter.
but you're saying, Senator, na dati, madalas nyo namang makitang judicial restraint on the part of the Supreme Court.
Dati, ngayon, because of that provision in the Constitution that the Supreme Court has the power to correct abuse of discretion,
Yes.
that phrase or that power has been interpreted in a very wide latitude to
Oo nga.
to include everything.
Oo nga.
Kaya
Pero
there is-
pwede naman nilang,
among the issues that will be tackled in case there is a constitutional amendment or con-us is that issue of the widening authority of
Yeah,
the
yung-
Supreme Court because of that phrase.
oo nga.
But sir, there are some people who pointed out na, di ba, yung Supreme Court ruled nung July 25 last year on the Sara Duterte impeachment case, and then it affirmed its ruling last week. But even in affirming its ruling, it also changed its definition of session days. Kasi yung July ruling, the Supreme Court said na pasok sa 10 session days yung tatlong impeachment complaints. That's why they set the 1-year bar tolling to February 5. And then comes last week's reaffirmation, they appear to have changed the definition of session days. I know, sabi nga ninyo, they're the final arbiter, pero the arbiter appears to have been changing its mind too.
Under our system of government and under our Constitution, the Supreme Court is the final arbiter, and that's how they ruled on that issue. So we have to accept it. Of course, what we accept is again subject to various interpretations. Now that's what's happening.
Senator, tanong ko lang, anong mangyayari kasi for the first time, we have 2 impeachment complaints going on against both the President and the Vice President. Anong kahihinat na niya kung sakasakaling
Magkasabay-sabay.
magkasabay-sabay na parehong pumunta sa Senado?
Well, okay. Then the Senate will have to try forthwith the impeachment complaints. Okay. So what will happen if they impeach the president first? Assuming theoretically,
Yes.
if the president is impeached, the vice president takes over. Okay, and under the Constitution, in the case of vacancy in the vice president because the official is elevated to the office of the president, the acting or the president now is supposed to nominate from the House from Congress a vice president to be concurred in by if I'm not mistaken by Congress. So there's a process of succession. The fear that there can be a vacuum, there can be vacancies in both offices is that correct? Because there is a process of succession.
Pero sir, you might also have the curious possibility na...
Pero SP,
for
the Vice
example-
President, SP, paano meron kang ongoing impeachment ng Vice President? No? Yung ba ay magpapatuloy dahil magsasucceed siya as President, di ba?
Yun, that's one.
Magsasucceed siya as President. Will the
Itutuloy yan,
impeachment-
Ronald.
Yeah.
Firstly, itutuloy yan because the punishment for impeachment is not only removal from office, but also disqualification from holding public office. So the fact that the impeached official no longer holds office does not make the question academic because there is another penalty, and that is disqualification from public office.
So
Pero
magtutuloy yun kasi
Will it
yung isang
continue?
argument
Sorry?
yun.
Will it
May isang
continue?
argument kasi, Senator, Yung isang argument, halimbawa natanggal si BBM, convicted, at nag-assume yung kanyang constitutional successor, hindi na siya vice president. So, wala na. Hindi na pwedeng, wala na yung offense na na-commit as hindi na siya vice president eh. Kaya hindi na daw siya matutuloy na impeachment trial as a vice president. Presidente na siya eh. Tama ba yun?
Yes. But he was being, or she is being charged with acts committed while she was vice president. And as I
Yes.
said, there is another penalty of disqualification from holding public office. So it can be argued that the impeachment trial can proceed.
Pero sir, these are all going to be new developments. I mean, these have never been tested before.
Gulo, no?
That's correct. Gulo natin eh. Ang gulo.
We're gonna have an
I'm no
interesting
longer
year.
in public office.
We're gonna have an interesting year this year, huh?
SP, are you
Pwede ba
enjoying the
i-prioritize
view?
yun?
One by one.
SP,
Oh.
SP, are you enjoying the view? Na hindi na kayo in public office. At,
Yes, I am
what-
enjoying it. No, but it's a challenge to what we know of the Constitution because there are so many issues being raised and being new, like the definition, the Supreme Court getting involved in matters which all the while we thought were political questions, and therefore the rational thing to do is to refrain from getting into it. But the Supreme Court wades into the conflict, so this is what we have today.
For example, sir, yung issue ng due process that the Supreme Court decided on sa Duterte impeachment complaint, all the proof now being required to be submitted to each and every congressman who's going to cast their vote. Do you agree with that? I know the Supreme Court's the arbiter in the end, pero from your perspective, was that an overreach?
You know, the Constitution is very clear that it is the House of Representatives who has the power to determine whether an impeachable offense has been committed and therefore refer the complaint to the Senate. And I hope the Supreme Court follows that very clear line of power, that it is the House of Representatives who determines whether or not there is basis to refer the matter to the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, you know, that phrase in grave abuse of discretion has justified intervention by the Supreme Court in so many issues.
Oo nga. So, charter change lang talaga ang kung sakali, can correct this judicial overreach.
And not only that, not only in this, but there are so many other issues that can be reviewed. For example, the matter of the dynasty, anti-dynasty provision. Is, you know, the Constitutional Commission left it to the discretion of Congress. So what do you have? You can never enact an anti-dynasty law.
Sa tingin nyo ngayon, may pag-asa, we have 20 proposals for banning dynasties.
Look at the composition.
Ay, ganda ng reaction niya.
Look at the Senate.
From the executive to the legislature. How can you say that we can pass an anti-dynasty law in the manner that we want it to be?
Pero
Pero
sir,
sa tingin nyo, reasonable expectation, anong inaasahan nyo? They have to come out with
Reasonable
something.
expectation, at most, maybe there can be an anti-dynasty law, but the provision is such that people will not be happy because the evil sought to be addressed is not being addressed. So, para lang, you know, just to
Masabi lang
meron
na
lang law na
Mayroon, but you know, if you look at it, talagang, you know, we tried that, but the best that we can do is an anti-dynasty provision, I think, in the barangay election or something.
Yes.
May anti-dynasty provision sir sa
Sanggunian,
BARM.
SK.
Saka sa BARM.
Sangguniang kabataan,
Yeah,
saka sa BARM.
Yeah, in the barangay election or something.
Yeah. Sangguniang kabataan.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sir, well, kahit pa paano, at least now you have a speaker who says, at least he says, na he wants an anti-dynasty law passed. He says that quite publicly.
Yeah.
Yung nga lang, we don't know if he's going to last as a speaker if he pushes that.
No, that is why I'm saying, yes, there can be an anti-dynasty law passed because of all the pressure, but whether or not it is
The kind you want.
to the standard that we wish it to be, I have my very serious doubts.
Yes.
Pwede naman daw dahan-dahan, sabi ni Janet Garin. Halimbawa, yung proposal nila, yung clustering,
Yung alin?
yung mga prohibition on dynasties divided sa provincial or sa city or sa ganung level, national and local.
You know, it will have so many qualifications you no longer understand. You know.
Parang ano lang yon, yung minimize your greed lang, ganon, moderate your
Moderate
greed.
your greed.
Parang hindi dahan-dahan yun eh. Parang institutionalizing dynasties yun eh.
I don't want to paddle my own canoe, but I never had a dynastic situation during my term as a elective or elective.
Kaya nga, ano.
Okay. Ay, teka, before we let you go, sir, your thoughts on, kasi we were talking, kanina, we were talking about yung mga seeming shake-up coming dun sa Senate. Tito Soto having a very small margin as Senate President, and si Loren daw inalok na maging Senate President ng minority. Pero
Alam mo,
tinanggihan daw niya.
Ronald, Ami, in my view, all of this maneuvering in the Senate is because of the presidential election of 2028. That's what it is. Senators have a moist eye on the presidency. Sara Duterte wants to be president, naturally. So there will be all maneuverings, and the hold of Senate President Soto is very tenuous. Just look at it. You have Pia Cayetano in the majority of 15. If Alan aspires to be the Senate President, what do you think Pia will vote? Will vote with the opposition. Now, you have two Villars who has problems now with the administration.
With the SEC.
Where do you think they will vote? They will use the two votes for political leverage. So, and I will not be surprised, and I will say this, I will not be surprised if part of the maneuvering is the vice presidency is offered to a senator by Sara Duterte. In other words, in exchange for the vote. And Ronald here can confirm this. Abay, sabihin ko, sige, you vote for this or that, you'll be my vice president in 2028. So this is what it is. Everything is influenced by the presidential election in 2028.
Everything leads to the presidential elections.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
The maneuverings in the Senate are basically based on political calculations ng
Yes,
mga senator.
yes, political calculations, Ronald.
Yeah.
But we look at it at another point of view. This indicates the lack of a viable political party system in our country. There is none, and that is why the Senate President is, it is very difficult because I have been there and I have been deposed, as I said, 3 times. But this is the weakness. This is the result of a multi-party system in a presidential system of government, because there is no impetus, there is no encouragement to unite. You don't lose your seat in the legislature. So you have to look at the political agenda of each of the 24 senators, and that's not easy to do.
Okay. Okay, sir. We'll let you go na, sir. Maraming salamat for joining us this afternoon. Former Senate President Franklin Drilon. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Maraming salamat,
Ingat
SP.
po, parate.
Thank you, Donald. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ami.
Ingat po. You're watching Storycon on One News. We just need to take a break. We'll be right back. We've got developing news in the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao, and of course with us, Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star. And on the road, Raul Llamas, our resident political heckler. Let's get
Yata gumagalaw yung background ni Ronald.
Hindi na gumagalaw. Baka naman baka
Oo
chroma
nga,
lang yan.
Peke.
Nakatigil sa kwan. Nakatigil dito sa kwan. Tawag dito?
Tollway.
Yung bayaran.
Oh, sa toll. Tollbooth.
Nasa
Toll gate.
Oh,
Sa toll gate.
Hindi ka nag-RFID?
Kahit,
Wala
kahit,
RFID.
kahit RFID, may pila eh.
Yan talaga.
Nag-RFID ka pa, tapos pipila ka rin.
Okay, teka. Mamaya na yung reklamo. Si Ronald talaga. Let's get the latest from the House of Representatives. We have News 5 correspondent Marian Enriquez who joins us now. There, via Zoom. Marian, what's the
Hi,
latest
Marian.
sa Justice Committee?
Hi, Marian.
Kamusta po mga tito at tita? Actually kanina katatapos nga lang nung House Committee on Justice deliberation doon sa unang impeachment complaint laban kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Tinukoy nila kung sufficient in substance itong unang reklamo na inihain ng litigator na si Attorney Andre De Jesus at endorser na si Pusong Pinoy Party List Representative Jet Misay at napagdesisyonan po na bukas na lang magbobotohan. Ang ginawa lamang po muna nila kanina, inisa-isa nila kung yung bawat 5 inilatag na aligasyon nitong mga complainant ay meron pong tumutugmang ground for impeachment. Yun yung
Okay.
ginagawa ngayon doon sa sufficiency in substance. Tandaan po natin na sa ilalim ng konstitusyon, 6 lamang itong grounds for impeachment. Nandyan yung culpable violation of the Constitution, betrayal of public trust, treason, bribery, graft and corruption, at yung other high crimes. Kung maalala po natin, isa-isahin natin, mabilis lamang, ilan doon sa mga sinabi ng mga nung complainant at ng mga kongresista na nagmanifest doon sa bawat allegations, hindi impeachable offense yung mga inilatag na allegations o offense, accusations nitong Attorney De Jesus laban kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Kung nakulangan din sila doon sa narration of facts. Wala raw nitong factual evidence o kumbaga factual allegations, kundi mga legal conclusions lamang yung nakita nila dito sa latag ng reklamo ni Attorney Andre De Jesus. For example, sinabi doon sa reklamo na nagkaroon daw ng kidnapping nung pinahintulutan ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na arestuhin ng Interpol, ng ICC or International Criminal Court, itong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Dito mga kongresista, wala namang nangyaring kidnapping dahil una, pinatupad lamang yung treaty nga ng bansa with the Interpol at nag-serve ng arrest warrant from the ICC. So doon pa lang hindi impeachable offense, kumbaga itong inilatag na reklamo ni De Jesus sa kanyang unang offense. At yung mga inilatag doon na evidence, sinasabi din ni Bicol Soro Party List Representative Terry Rigon, pinunan niya na puro news articles lang. Tandaan po natin na isa rin sa tinitingnan, dapat po meron nga personal knowledge o meron din po itong nakalakip na mga authentic records. So puro news articles yung mga inilatag doon na annexes nung complainant. Nabanggit din dito yung aligasyon ng drug addiction ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos at pagiging unfit to serve niya bilang Pangulo. Ginit nila, pati ni ML Party List Representative Leila de Lima, na legal conclusion lamang ito ng kanyang kapatid na si Senator Amy Marcos. Yung kiniwento nga niya nung in-announce niya na may drug addiction yung kanyang kapatid. And therefore, hindi ibig sabihin na kung drug addict ang isang tao ay it constitutes yung ground for impeachment. At yun yung isa doon sa mga binanggit doon. And actually, marami pa silang mga pinag-usapan. Even yung pag-veto, yung failure to veto daw ni PBBM ng unprogrammed appropriations, inatalakay. Sinasabi nga nila na wala namang provision sa saligang batas, particular na violate o nilabag ng Pangulo. So hinahanap nila yun doon sa reklamo at hindi nga na-suffice. Wala po nakita doon na mayroong inilatag na acts committed o paglabag sa anumang mga provision sa saligang batas. At actually, alam naman po natin na si Congressman Egay Erice and even itong si ML Party's Representative Leila de Lima, maingay, very vocal sila na sinasabi nila unconstitutional ang unprogrammed appropriations. Pero hindi naman itong issue ng pagiging unconstitutional ng unprogrammed appropriations ang issue doon sa tinalakay na reklamo. Actually, sinabi din nga na prerogative naman ng Pangulo yun. Wala namang nakalagay naman dato sa konstitusyon na ang Pangulo dapat i-veto ang UA o unprogrammed appropriations. So meron din doon binanggit yung mga nangyaring, for example, yung allegation na nakinabang ang Pangulo sa kickbacks mula sa budget insertions and flood control projects. Sinabi ni na Kong Benny Abante na pawang hearsay lamang itong mga nabanggit na ito at walang basihan yung alegasyon. Si CDO Representative Rufus Rodriguez, sinabi din niya na dapat humarap nga sa komite itong si, for example, sa Cobicol Party List Representative, dating Congressman Zaldico, para nga makapagpaliwanag, kasi kailangan din ng cross-examination, kumbaga. So naniniwala silang wala recital of facts doon sa inihaing reklamo. Yung panglimang aligasyon, na kumbinsido din yung mga kongresista na hindi impeachable offense yung pagbuo ng Pangulo umano ng Independent Commission for Infrastructure o ICI para umano protektahan yung kanyang mga kaalyado dito nga doon sa flood control mess. Naniniwala sila, actually si SDML, Senior Deputy Majority Leader Lawrence Defensor, sinasabi niya na, kung ito yung layon pala ng Pangulo, bakit maglalagay si PBBM ng mga tao, commissioner, like Rogelio Singson and yung sa SGB partner ng audit na mga ehemplo raw po ng good governance, talaga na mga naniniwala na yung tapat, yung kanilang mga integridad para pamunuan nga itong komisyon. And also sinabi din ni Rufus Rodriguez, kung yun yung layon pala, dapat walang ginawang action kahit na anuman yung komisyon. Pero ang nakita naman natin na nagkaroon din ng mga recommendations itong komisyon sa ombudsman. So yun, bukas, alas 10 ulit ng umaga, magre-resuming session anong pagdinig or deliberasyon ng House Committee on Justice para naman talakayin yung second impeachment complaint na inihain ng Grupong Bayan at ng Makabayan Bloc. Pagkatapos nun ay doon pa magbobotohan itong first, yung De Jesus complaint and yung Maza et al. Complaint kung sufficient in substance itong dalawang reklamo. Napakahalaga na magiging botohan bukas dahil doon po malalaman kung usad ba itong impeachment complaints laban kay Pangulong Marcos o mababasura na ito dito pa lang sa komite. Balik sa inyo.
Pero Marian, hindi naman kailangan na lahat ng na sinasite ng complainant na articles of impeachment ay kailangan mahanapan ng sufficiency in substance, no? Pwede bang meron bang bare minimum diyan na, for example, kailangan lang isa makapasa para umandar yan o kailangan lahat ng sinambite ay kailangan pumasa?
Tama ka dyan na, Bok, yun yung isa sa mga natanong natin, kung paano ba yung dapat pagdesisyonan. Kung meron lang ba isang lumusot dyan na isang round, lulusot na ba yan? Pero ayon kay Chairperson Jervy Luistro, pagbabasihan daw ng mga miyembro, yung pagboto nila sa entirety ng buong reklamo. So doon natin magkakaalaman kung paano nga ba magdedesisyon. Prerogative na nasa kanila na discretion itong mga miyembro kung paano sila boboto bukas ng hapon.
So kailangan hindi naman kailangan na i-dismiss nila yung per complaint. Hindi ganon ang botohan. Hindi ganon ang botohan. Pwede pa rin na kahit hindi lahat ng mga binanggit doon hindi uubra, pwede pa rin nilang ipasa yung case na yon. Uusad pa rin yon.
Ang malinaw na binanggit ni Luistro, entirety o yung buong forma, atag ng laman ng reklamo, yung kanilang pagbobotohan. Mayorya?
So pag-dismiss, entirety rin?
Ang dating ngayon, Ami. Ang dating sa akin, Ami, pag sinabing entirety, ibig sabihin, kahit merong article na okay, kung yung karamihan na hindi okay, pwedeng madamay yung okay. Pwedeng ma-reject kahit yung okay. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng entirety. Kung magka-balance sheet, what is the balance sheet ng kabuuan?
Pero pwede bang i-consolidate yung dalawang complaint? Hindi ba merong ganyang mga usapin kailan lang na baka i-consolidate?
Tingin ko this time hindi. This time hindi nila i-consolidate.
Teka, paano kung na-dismiss yung isa, tapos tumuloy yung isa, Hindi ba magpo-fall in
Oo
place
nga.
yung 1-year bar? Punta na tayo.
Pa-dismiss yung isa at may lumusot na isang buong reklamo, uusad po ang impeachment laban sa Pangulo. Diyan na po mag-uumpisa yun nga, magpadala ng notices yung
Tama.
Committee on Justice para pasagutin o hinga ng answer yung respondent si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos at hinga ng reply yung mga complainant. At diyan yung usad yung mismong paggulong ng pagdinig nga ng komite doon sa impeachment. Lahat yan maglalabasan ng ebidensya, iimbitahan yung mga testigo, mga complainant, even President
Yan ang
Bongbong
hearing.
Marcos kung may lumusot na impeachment complaint
Isa.
sa committee level.
Okay? Okay. Meron pa tayo isa pang module na papasok. Maraming salamat,
Okay.
Meron Enriquez, reporting live from Congress. And we're now bringing in
Thank you.
from the Senate our
Salamat,
Mojo.
Marian.
Thank you, Marian. We're bringing our mobile journalist, Merimon Reyes from the Senate. Merimon, kamusta ang
Magandang
hearing na?
Nawala po.
Naputol ba? Ay, nako.
Narinig ko
Bok,
boses niya.
Ayan, there you go.
hapon.
Pero wala siya sa...
Merimon,
Oh,
yeah.
yan na.
She's just on the phone. Merimon, can you hear us?
Yes, Bok, loud and clear.
Oh, ano nangyari sa hearing sa tourism?
Yun, nag-aaway.
Nako, kanina sinita sa Tourism Committee hearing ni Senator Raffy Tulfo itong si Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco kasi ang nasabi niya parang nagiging vlogger daw itong
Oh,
si
nagiging
Secretary
vlogger.
Frasco. Oo, at saka parang may self-promotion na nangyayari kasi nagpakita ng mga example ng mga picture, mga paraphernalia, litrato, yung picture niya sa magazine na puro mukha niya raw, puro pangalan niya raw yung mga nakalagay. Pero ang sinabi dito ni Secretary Frasco, dinedeny niya, hindi naman daw siya tumatakbo for any national position, kaya wala naman daw siyang rason para i-promote yung sarili niya. Nag-utos na rin daw siya na ipa-take down na yung any offending material or material na bearing her image. At ang sinasabi pa ni Secretary Frasco, yung mga nagiging meme daw na picture niya ay work photos. Yung ilan kasi na naging example na pinakita ni na Senator Tulfo, yung magazine from a Japanese magazine na ang sinasabi naman ni Frasco dito, wala raw authority na yung litrato niya ang pinakagagamitin doon. Meron pang isa naman, tungkol naman ito yung picture niya na bulaklakin yung suot niya sa Lake Cebu, South Cotabato. Ang sabi naman ni Sec Frasco dito, yung picture daw na yun ay during the Philippine Experience Program. So hindi raw yun promotional material, kundi coverage daw ng activities ng Department of Tourism. So nililinaw niya na lahat daw ng ginagawa niya, yung pagbibisita, yung mga pictures din daw doon na iba, mga coverages yun. Pero nevertheless, sineseryoso niya naman daw yung naging komento ng committee kanina na kung gusto i-promote yung Pilipinas, wag daw, okay lang daw na bumisita si Sec Frasco, pero wag niya naman daw i-postura yung, kumbaga bigyan ng focus yung sarili niya pagdating doon sa promotional materials. Sinabi pa ni Senator Tulfo, baka tingnan yung possibility na makipag-collaborate daw with travel vloggers, ang mas ilabas yung pagkain, hindi lang daw yung festivities, yung mga lugar, yung mga landscape, para raw masiguro na nabo-broadcast talaga internationally ang Pilipinas. And ang sabi naman dito ni Sec Frasco, ngayon, binubuksan na rin nila sa iba pang mga possible tourists internationally ang Pilipinas. Ngayon, ang sinusubok na nila talaga ay ang India. Pagdating sa mga visa, ginagawa na nilang visa-free. So, despite naman na yung mga may remarks na nakikita, mga comments daw here and there, nagtatrabaho naman daw ang DOT para sa ikabubuti ng tourism ng Pilipinas. Bok.
Okay.
Raymond, pahabol ko lang ano yung kumusta yung sa resolution on the persona non grata?
Mi, ang sabi pa, so far kasi, ang nasabi talaga last time ni SP Tito Soto, pag-aralan yung possibility kasi ang na-raise ni Senator Ping, presidente lang yung pwedeng mag-declare na persona non grata, yung foreign diplomat. So far kasi ngayon sa session, nakasalang ulit for interpellation yung Senate Resolution number 256. Ang sabi dyan ni SP Soto, pwedeng mapag-usapan kung mabibring up yung possibility na pag-declare na persona non grata. Pero kasi ngayon, ang pinaka-nakasalang pa rin is si Senator Marcoleta na still kine-question niya yung coordinates na magbibigay linaw daw kung ano ba talaga yung West Philippine Sea para raw malaman natin kung ano raw yung dapat na pinoprotektahan. So yun yung
Merimon, hindi ba napaliwanag kay Senator Marcoleta yung baseline law? Batas na kasi yun eh.
Oo, sinabi yan kanina ni Senator Kiko Pangilinan na pinaliwanag pa nga niya yung international, yung arbitral ruling, international law, pero mukhang hindi pa tinatanggap ni Senator Marcoleta yung sa side na yun ni Senator Kiko na nagpakilala nung resolution number 256.
Okay. Bok, we have to say goodbye to Meramon because we already have our last guest for today, si Congressman Benny Abante, who's also waiting for us on the line. Maraming salamat, Meramon. Thank you for joining us.
Salamat, Merimon.
Thanks, Marimon.
And also joining us this afternoon, Manila 6th District Congressman Benny Abante. Sir, magandang hapon and welcome back to Storycon.
Hi.
Magandang hapon, Ed. Magandang hapon, Ronald. Amy, magandang hapon sa inyo lahat.
Long time no see, Kong.
Oo nga.
Alam mo, sir, pinag-usapan namin kanina.
Bakit kayo nag-walkout yung isang araw?
Well, nag-walkout ako kasi hindi ako naniniwalang sufficiency informed talaga yun. I mean, yung una, yung kay Nisay, Congressman Nisay did not even explain to us yung bakit sufficient informed. He's trying to explain yung bang yung sufficiency in substance. Sabi ko, hindi naman natin kailangan yan. Ang kailangan mo natin yung sufficient informed. Hindi naman niya ina-explain. Kaya pangalawa naman, nagbigay din naman ng salita si Congressman Joel Chua about yung verification ng mga
Signatures.
ng mga complainants, no? And then yun din na sinabi ni Congressman Rufus na tungkol naman doon, meron may sinasabi ni Congressman Rufus tungkol naman doon sa tawag doon yung notarized, no? Ako naman, ang sinabi ko naman ganito, nakalagay doon yung mga 36 na mga complainants. Nilagay nila yung senior citizens ID, yung national ID nila, pero wala silang any kind of document to attest that they're all taxpayers. Kaya yun ang kine-question namin. Kaya ako nag-object, pero hindi naman nanalo kami sa objection. Nailangan nag-object sa amin. Sinamahan ako ng 8 congressman. The rest of them actually voted for the sufficiency informed. Kaya ako nag-walk out kasi sabi ko, this is just, a exercise in futility and a waste of the people's money. So, nag-walk out na ako.
Kong, pero moving forward dun sa kaninang hearing, there was a long discussion on sufficiency of substance. Although hindi pa rin although wala pang botohan, pero mukhang marami nang nakwe-question dun sa complaint ni Atty. De Jesus. Dun sa
Yung kay Atty. De Jesus, yes. Yun muna pinag-usapan kanina.
Opo. Papa, how does that work? Kung sakaling sabihin natin lima yung sinasite ni De Jesus na complaints dun sa kanyang impeachment complaint. What happens if, for example, 3 sa 5 yun iganon ng komite in terms of substance? What happens to the other 2? Tutuloy pa rin ba yun? O
Wala naman
ano?
what I can see is that all of the accusations and allegation, puro allegation Wala namang talagang factual, wala naman talagang tinatawag nating validated record, no? Wala authenticated na evidence on that, no? Ang iba doon hearsay For example, like yung kickbacks. Wala naman silang ebidensya ang maipakita na nagkaroon ng kickback ang Pangulo. Puro hearsay naman yon. For example, like yung vinito niya, no? He vetoed 2 of the unprogrammed funds, no? Pero 3 yata yung binito niya 2 yung hindi niya binito. Now, sabi ko, isa loob-loob ko, bakit hindi ito nakita bakit yung mga ibang presidente, yung unprogrammed funds naman, hindi naman illegal yan Lahat ng Pangulo natin nag-approve ng unprogrammed funds. O bakit hindi nakita yan nung araw ng mga congressman nag-file man lang ng tinatawag na impeachment proceeding against the president because they did not actually vetoed the unprogrammed funds. Hindi naman yun illegal eh. Oo. Pinapaliwanag nga namin diyan na yung unprogrammed funds will be used for the expenses na i-incur ng Pangulo o ng gobyerno na talagang hindi nakalagay specifically sa GAA. So, yung mga bagay na yan, that is, just to realize, no, that the President has the discretionary power to veto or not to veto. So, yun,
What about
hindi rin pwede makapasa yun eh. Ano? Yung, for example, alin yung Ami?
Hindi, sige, ituloy niyo po.
For example, yung sinasabing drug addict ang presidente, ang kanilang ebidensya lang doon is the statement of Amy Marcos. Oo. Amy Marcos. For example, like she made a statement. Alam naman natin na itong statement ni Amy Marcos is more political than truthful eh. Ano ha? Kaya still, hindi pwedeng maging sufficiency in substance yan kung ang ebidensya lang ay yung statement ni Amy Marcos. You see?
Congressman, I'm presuming nabasa niyo na rin yung pangalawa namang complaint na final against
Hindi
President
pa.
Marcos.
Hindi
Ano
pa
po
ako
yung
pwede
tingin niyo ron?
hindi pa ako pwede magsalita rin yung final nila Masa, no? Ng mga iba. Hindi pa ako pwede magsalita dyan. Bukas pag-uusapan pa namin yan. O pag iisa-isahin pa namin. Pero alam mo, nabasa ko rin yung complaint na yan. Pero palagay ko is almost the same as the first complaint. Eh.
Of last
Talagang,
year, of the other year.
talagang to me, it is actually an exercise in futility. Even the very reasons, the very complaints, no, na ni Lisa Masa and the rest of them, hindi talaga pwedeng maging sufficiency in substance.
May sense po ba kayo ng sentimento ng committee? Majority kaya yan? Makiki-advance na kami?
I would think that the majority of the committee will be voting in favor of the insufficiency of substance.
Okay
Sa palagay ko. Kasi nakikita
sir, the first or both?
Hindi ako abogado, pero nakita ko na na hindi pwede. You cannot just make allegations and accusations. Sasabihin natin na sabihin natin na kahit na allegation, accusation yan, dapat yan pag-usapan na yan sa impeachment process, no? No, nasa committee pa lang kami. In the committee, every congressman has the right to ask any questions. Kung anong mang question ang gusto lang itanong.
Anong fearless forecast nyo kung gaano katagal matatapos ito sa Justice Committee?
Ang forecast ko dyan, siguro, let's say until Friday. Until Friday. Kasi bukas, pagbobotohan namin yung sufficiency of substance nung complaint ni De Jesus, no? Oo. Then tomorrow, pag-uusapan din namin by manifestations yung sufficiency of substance na dineclare ng ni Lisa Masa at ng iba pang mga nag-file.
So your fearless forecast is by Friday, they're both dismissed?
Yeah.
Is
By
that what you're saying?
Friday, pagbobotohan na yan. Sabi ko, can you imagine, it will take us a week, no? Yun lang ang pinag-usapan namin. Just imagine na hindi rin talaga pwede. That would be very different from the impeachment complaint of the Vice President.
So another fearless forecast, Kong, will it be dismissed or will it be transferred to plenary?
Well, sa akin, no, personally speaking, I should be dismissed in the committee. Sa committee lang, hindi narating sa plenary yan.
Kumusta naman po yung impeachment kay BP Sara? Kumusta
Wala
po siya?
pa. We know they filed. Sa akin lang sana, sigurado sila sa timeline ng kanilang pagpa-file, no? And we don't know. Pero sabi ko, kasama dito lahat ng mga pinag-usapan doon sa TRICOM last time, no? And then, kasama rin dito yung statement ni Matriaga. No? Kaya medyo matindi yun eh. Sa akin, medyo matindi yun eh.
So sa tingin nyo, hindi aabot sa consolidation itong dalawang kaso kay BBM?
Well, I don't think it will come to that, no? Because number one, we are trying to, set that apart. Hindi namin pinagsasama yung dalawang impeachment complaint. So, ang ginagawa namin, inuuna namin yung kay De Jesus. Then, nire-repaso po namin yung bawat complaint nila on the sufficiency of substance. And then, after that, pagbobotohan namin yan, bukas, no? Either pagbotohan muna namin yan before we talk about the sufficiency of substance of the complaint of Lisa Masa and the rest of them, or pagbobotohan namin afterwards. Oo. And then, afterwards, siguro, by Thursday, kung wala na talagang panahon yan, pagbobotohan namin yung kay Lisa Masa, no? By Thursday. And then afterwards, on Friday, tuloy-tuloy na yan eh. Wala nang hinto yan eh. We're not
By
going
next
to
week,
wait
yung kay
anymore for
Vice
the other
President.
sessions.
Another fearless forecast, Kong. Indicative lang. Indicative. Tingin niyo aabot sa plenary yung kay impeachment ni Vice President Sara?
Yung impeachment ni Vice President Sara, ako gusto kong paabutin, Ronald, sa plenary. Hindi ko lang alam what the thinking of the rest of the congressman. Pero ako personally, aabot palagi ako sa plenary yan. Sa akin, ha?
Anong
Maraming
mas
kanya,
malakas
ha?
na ano kaya?
Maraming
Ano kaya ang
fearless
mas
forecast
malakas
na.
na ano? Ano kaya yung mas malakas na preference? Kasi sabi nila pwede din naman daw i-fast track sa under the second mode provided by the Supreme Court.
We actually, yung bang careful din kami na masyado naming i-fast track yan. Napakasabihin nila, talagang pinapast track namin yung BBM, no? In fact, ako nga, medyo may mga nagsalita na drama lang doon yung ginawa kong walkout, no? Sapagkat tatawa-tawa pa raw ako. Anong gagawin ko? Malulungkot ka. The thing is, sa akin, totoo yung objection ko eh. In fact, yung first objection ko, ako lang nag-object, isa ang nag-abstain. Pero nung second objection ko, dun sa pangalawa, siyam na ang kasama ko dun eh, na nag-abstain, nag-object eh. Okay. Now, siyempre, hindi ko nagustuhan yung deliberation, for example. Like, sabi ko nga, sana naman bago natin talaga pagbotohan ito, isipin natin muli. Gusto ko nga, ulitin yung botohan eh. Oo. Pero siyempre, hindi ko na nagawa yan. So, I just walked out.
Okay.
Salamat,
Okay.
Kong, sa iyong maraming fearless forecast.
Thank you, sir. Maraming salamat for joining us this afternoon. Manila 6th District Congressman Benny Abante. Thank you po.
Thank
Thank
you,
you po. Thank you.
Congressman.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today. Aming Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief ng Philippine Star, and Raul Llamas, our international man of malice. International man of mystery.
Man of malice ka na.
Hi, Ronald. Just again tomorrow,
Oy,
4
Manny
p.m.
Mogs to. Pagaling ka, Manny Mogs.
Oh, oy, dalawin niyo kung may pagkakataon kayo si Manny Mogs at naghahanap siya ng crispy pata.
Kakwento.
Sa ospital.
Baka lalong mabinat pag dinalaw. Oh.
Huwag natin banggitin yun. Okay, sige. Okay, maraming salamat sa inyong dalawa. At sa lahat ng mga nagtsatsaga sa amin, join us again tomorrow at 4 p.m. for Storycon. Kapatid, we are one news, all sides, all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the StoryCon Group.